Hi, welcome to The Door Talks.
It's early in the morning. There's babies. Babies.
We've just come back from the Rise of the Skywalker, or Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be loads of spoilers, so just off, before we go into anything too detailed, where would you put this against? We're just going to go with the most recent trilogy, so...
I would put it above Last Jedi by quite a margin in my mind, but just below Force Awakens.
Okay, I'd probably do it either equal to Last Jedi or maybe a slight touch below. Below, that's my thing. That's our sort of initial opinions. So obviously if you like Star Wars, just go and see it. Obviously you have a good time. But now it's really hard not to talk about spoilers, so let's just do...
So spoilers from now.
Yeah.
She's not even a Skywalker.
It's not a Skywalker.
What is it going on about now? I mean, I didn't mind that bit, but I mean, if she wasn't going to be like, hi, my name's Ray Palpatine, nice to meet you. Anyway, so you had more problems than me. So let's go through your problems and try and end on a high, because I know you actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, you enjoyed it more than me. I found a lot of it just choppy and messy.
Everything we learned from The Last Jedi apparently is just all false, and it's all just been a ruse. I didn't hate that part of it, to be honest. I didn't feel like it was all completely unjustified. I could see every single thing actually happening, maybe minus the fact that Rey's parents were just actually these unexplained people who we've not met yet, but they were also related to Palpatine. That was the one thing that I didn't feel like was fully explained to me, was sort of shoehorned in. But I did feel like every other part and every other beat, I probably would have like sort of guessed
it's just
already.
I suppose, why was there the Sith Finder things? What were they for?
Well, to bring the Sith home. To bring people
from,
back to the Sith
where?
home.
Where'd they come from? Who built them?
Well, let's say, if you think about the fact there's only ever two Sith, what if one Sith doesn't tell another Sith where their homeland is? So as soon as they die, then it's like, go and follow the hologram or whatever.
Well, it was like we kept on the Pathfinder.
Yeah, Pathfinder. I think,
But Kylo finds one right at the start. He goes to that planet, which I like. I like the start where Kylo's flying off to meet the Emperor and getting there.
And when he goes and kills
fully on board,
people.
and he finds the Pathfinder thing there. I was fully on board with that. It was just more the Poe, Finn, all that crowd, their little adventure. A lot of it just didn't mean that much to me. I really wanted to like this movie, and it didn't. There was so few bits that it made.
It meant more than less than The Last Jedi, though.
The Last Jedi had some scenes, like obviously milking the cow, and there's silly little scenes in it. Luke throwing the lightsaber over his thing, but this had its own kind of scenes. Where I was a bit like,
but I don't think they were half as silly or anywhere near as silly as the Last Jedi. The thing is, The Last Jedi just missed so many beats, and yes, it was quite pretty in certain aspects and stuff like that, but I just don't feel like that one was boring. That one wasn't driving to anything, because really they were just running away from
Well,
anything.
They were driving to something, but it was just a straight line.
But this was actually like, you kind of knew exactly what you were going in for as soon as you heard Emperor Palpatine's voice on the trailer. You knew exactly what was going on. You knew we're going to have to go and take down Emperor Palpatine.
Well, we spoke about
he's
it.
Right,
obviously,
he's risen,
obviously
he's come back.
Yeah.
We're going to have to take him down. So I feel like it did exactly what it was said on the tin, and exactly what Force Awakens kind of did exactly what it said on the tin.
We spoke about saying,
and I wasn't surprised by anything in this film, really. I do agree that is a big problem with it. But I also see exactly what happened to Game of Thrones and what happened to the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
As soon as there's this many fans of something, it becomes too popular, and it gets and it never pleases anyone.
No, I know,
pleases everyone.
But like we spoke about in the car, I think like the Avengers Endgame had obviously it was a slightly different kind of challenge because there was a lot more films in a short amount of time. Yeah. But I think it just stuck the landing a little bit better. With this one, the only thing that really stuck with me was the bit where you think Chewie's dead, but he's not. And I thought that scene was like, oh fuck, Chewie's dead. And I was kind of thinking, I kind of hope he was dead, because it would have been a powerful thing, and it would have been a bit of a braver thing to do. And then
it would have been a brave thing. And
that was the only time my heart went.
I feel like they could have got that by just literally keeping Chewie dead for Rey. Dramatic irony sort of thing. She just thinks he's dead, and she thinks that she's killed him. She's unhinged or whatever. But she kind of
just looks up at the ship and goes, "Oh, Chewie's there." Like quite soon after. It's not long. It's like 20 minutes.
Really wasn't long. It really wasn't long. But also, even to the audience, it was shown that Chewie wasn't dead almost instantly, because they were like, there is another transport.
And then straight away.
Yeah. But I don't know. That did shock me at the time. Even it
was just a cool scene.
The thing is, the lightning coming out the hands, that did surprise me. And don't say it didn't surprise you. The lightning coming out the hands and killing Chewie was a big shock.
That was fantastic. And I've always wanted. That's what I'm saying.
That really did make me go, oh, actually, that did. But we started this conversation by saying that nothing surprised me. But I really did that did kind of surprise me.
Yeah, and what I mean is, it was something that, it sounds very terrible, but like make me feel some sort of like an emotion to it. And obviously everyone's always wanted someone. I know obviously Luke sometimes or Yoda lifts up a ship, but you've always wanted someone to stop.
Yeah.
We spoke about it in a few of the reviews. We're just going, which one stopped a Star Destroyer? Well, I'm just go, fucking come back here.
Well, that was really cool because you've seen Vader do it in, you heard of Vader doing it in like, Legends and stuff like that, and do it and taking down ships with.
I think you do it in like the Force Unleashed and some of the games. You can do stuff.
That's the cut.
I think that's actually like the cover of one of them.
Yes,
something ridiculous
I think it is actually. But the Force powers, because this is one thing that's kind of might be quite controversial to everyone else. There was nothing in the Force powers that I went, no, I preferred these Force powers than Leia throwing through the air as Mary Poppins. Much prefer.
Yes.
Because everything made sense. Her being able to control things, heal things, makes sense.
Well, the Force, really, if you think about it, it's basically everything. So we go, I can control everything. I can essentially turn wood into gold or make people fly, so I wasn't like going, oh, that's not right. I was just like, I believe that. I was like, that's fine.
Did anyone fly?
No, but I mean, as in, people can jump super high and you can make people fly. You can lift people up. What I mean is the Force. So it's not really a stretch to go, they can heal things. Well, of course they can.
Yeah. It's just certain people have certain different powers.
But he kind of banged up, like, Palpatine was banging on going, you two have got the healing.
Duality or something. There was some sort of duality
life force in them.
Together.
Because he didn't think you'd be able to get that force from them. And he was like, he was surprised, you've both got the thing. And it was like, I was trying to work out what he was saying.
I really get that.
Palpatine gets a new, lovely, was it?
This was quite,
what was it? Like a velvety...
Palpatine starts off being absolutely terrifying.
That's
one
white
big thing that I have to say. He would look like... he reminded me of the old original Frankenstein, where the thunder goes and you see his face.
But it was always like different. It was different angles, so it made his face change.
Yes, it did.
Hit himself in the face.
Yeah, no, it did. I thought that was
really
quite
like
good.
That was a good thing.
I thought the way they did Palpatine was actually really good because you didn't see him for a lot of the film until pretty much the third act. Because he was in the first act, and then he was pretty much missed until the end bit, where he sort of like pops up behind Rey.
And just going back, fixing slightly the Last Jedi as well, just that first bit where you just go, Snoke, I made him, there's some Snokes in a bottle.
Yes.
It's like, okay, it's just like sweep. But it was fine.
The thing is, that's exactly what both of us
thought it would be,
because that makes sense. But
anyway, sorry, go on.
But when they, when you see the Emperor, he sort of is, he's all like skeletal, and he sort of looks all old, and he's got weird white eyes, and he's been held up by that weird machine, and then he gets his powers from Rey, and he gets his tailors along, to come and give him a nice, beautiful red suit that was basically pretty similar to the one that he wore at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
He suddenly turned into prequel.
Yeah.
He wasn't Emperor from Return of the Jedi. He was prequel thing, and he was loving it. He was like, I kind of still struggle with the Death Star is just in the water.
Yeah,
it's so intact, and it's like,
completely. It got blown to absolute smithereens.
I would have rather he had some sort of, I know it sounds like a flashback, although there was a bit of a funny flashback at the end. But if the Emperor had suddenly gone like, he almost explained it and said, look, I fell down thing and I sort of pulled some of it with me, and it appeared on something.
I think that makes sense, but I don't think necessarily we need to have that explanation, like you say, because
you don't have to have it, but it made me go, well, why are all these like stormtrooper things?
How is the Emperor there?
Well, no, because I can imagine him floating through space and just pulling at it. Do you know, rebuilding himself?
Yeah.
Like, what was it, Dr. Manhattan? Like watching him.
The thing is, like, I suppose, like, when something explodes, it's not just going to blow into tiny little bits of specks. I suppose, like, that whole bit was just like all the wreckage that was drawn to the moon at that point. If you think about like the like, say my hand's the thing and it's all spinning and say like that, and then by that point the Death Star's just exploded here, all the wreckage would just go to that point on that part.
I think it's just because in obviously the movie when you see it explode, it literally goes to stars and it like sparkles. Nothing. Whereas if it had gone like crashed into the planet or something, I'd go, I totally get it. I'm all the way with you.
How good was the explosion on the planet? It was like a natural. It was like a real effect.
It looked like a model.
Like the old one.
It looked like a model.
That was what made me really love that.
What planet was that again?
That was the one where the
snow planet.
The snow planet. Yeah.
With the girl who isn't really in it.
Yeah, that was
the gold helmet.
My big thing about the film was the fact that they brought in some characters that I just didn't really need.
Apart from Boba Fett, but not
and
Boba
the droid.
Fett.
And the droid. I like the droid as well because I didn't care about the droid really. The droid could have just got stepped on by Chewbacca and I wouldn't have been that bothered. But he was quite cute when he was there. But the other characters, the girl, the Boba Fett girl kind of thing, like the Copper Fett.
It was Copper Fett. It just seemed like a kind of little side plot. They're like, I'm not sure about that.
Sort of like, here's Poe. Poe used to do this. He used to run spies. He was a drug dealer, essentially. Poe's a drug dealer, everyone. But then the Stormtrooper girl I liked a little bit more than the other one because it kind of because you kind of understood why there were loads of other Stormtroopers, but it was similar in the same way to the first Solo. You know when you meet Solo's bad guys.
Oh yeah,
and they're just the nice people. They're just like the rebels. She kind of felt like, oh, we're all stormtroopers. We've got to fight the First Order.
First Order,
everyone knows the First Order's bad.
The Finn sort of wanting to tell Rey something but doesn't, and it's like
that was strange.
The Finn with that girl, I was like, well, is it going to be something? I don't know. It doesn't have to be something, but it's like it felt like they were going places. And then just look, Lando. So Lando's in it for a bit, and right at the end he sits next to the girl, the horse. Oh, sorry, and the space horses. Yeah. I'll have to mention space horses.
I didn't mind space horses.
I mind them massively. It's like, well, block the speeders. They're not on speeders, and I get it if they were all on horses, but a lot of people.
Press the status switch.
Yeah, a lot of people are just running.
Yeah.
But then basically at the end, Lando's sat next to that girl, and he's like, "Where are you from?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm from so and so." Oh, and I know him from, and he goes, "Let's find out." And then I'm like, "Oh, he's going to say, I know so and so," but it's just like really. To me, I was like, oh, are they going to bang? Like, it was awkward. To me, it was really, really awkward.
That's what Lando's job's going to be, is basically going to be rehoming.
If he is, that's fine.
Stormtroopers,
but that's not the impression he gave. He was just like, it's like, who are you, little girl? Let's find out. And it was something a bit off about it.
Yeah, I agree with you there in a way, because they also did the same thing with sort of Finn because I feel like they were setting up for Finn and her to be brother and sister in a weird way. Not in like, maybe. I don't know, like, you know, because they sort of...
Some sort of...
I don't want to, like, literally bring all the races together.
I know,
but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh yeah, and Lando's the dad and everything's like that. But like, I just mean, like, it did set up, because they both sort of went, I was taken from a thingy. I was taken from
yeah.
We look the same age. It could be just Luke and Leia again. It could be a nice sort of story, but just taken by the dark side. I don't know.
But that bit in the whole film was
that part was a bit like open-ended. Quickly, let's just say a positive thing about Daisy Ridley's acting and how much better it was than Thingy.
She was very, very good. I thought
Luke was the one that was shit in this one.
Luke looked... His Force Ghost was not
Mark
a good...
Hamill was not up for it.
Yeah, and his Force Ghost was not a good Force Ghost. Also, Han Solo was in it, by the way, just for a little bit.
That was quite... He was good.
It worked.
He copied out the exact same scene, but the way that we all wanted it to go in the first one, which was quite interesting.
I think the person with this whole trilogy is Kylo Ren. I think everything even the bits where I was a bit like, I'm happily with him the whole film. There's no scenes with him where I'm not enjoying it. Like, he's been the through line of all these movies where I've gone, I'm 100%. And I never thought he was going to be the bad guy, because after, I think, pretty much by the end of the first film, you know he's good in him. I never thought he was going to be the big bad. That's why obviously had Edinburgh come back.
I thought by the end of the second film, I'd say, you kind of sort of saw that he was getting unhinged, but you kind of saw that he kind of wanted to do something.
In Strikes Back, sorry, Force Awakens, because he's a bit like kind of a bratty teenager, and then I think by the start of the next one, he's like, he kind of, actually, what am I doing?
Because he does that whole, like, taking his thumb off the trigger to kill his mum.
Yeah.
Which was sort of like, that was the first part of redemption. Not redemption, but like, you know, good seeing him.
Yeah. And Carrie Fisher as well. We might have to mention the Carrie Fisher.
There was nothing that Carrie Fisher did in this that made me really annoyed.
It would make me annoyed.
But I feel like, you know, she died. What else are you doing?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You can't just literally...
But I think...
Because I feel like if they'd have done too much of her talking, like when she said hope in the original one, I don't think people would have been happy with it, and she just had CGI Carrie with someone else doing the voice acting for it.
I thought that
wouldn't have been happy.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I'm saying keep her.
They couldn't have just gone, oh, let's just keep her in.
But I kind of thought they could have maybe done, like, obviously have her in it 100%. Don't like just suddenly go, oh, she explodes. Because I thought it might have been just explodes on a ship in the distance.
Yeah.
But it was just like there was a lot of bits where it was like, oh, here, what do you think? And she'd go like, yes, and it's like, well, maybe just I totally get it.
I don't.
But no.
The thing is, I think it was better than you're making out.
I'm not saying it's like I'm not going, this was a bad movie.
As Last Jedi. Worse than Last Jedi.
It's
The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I know. No. I'm allowed to think about
you are allowed
stuff.
to have your opinions. But I do feel like on a second watch and a third watch, because you didn't really notice much of the fantastic cinematography that I noticed.
But I thought it looked good, but I thought The Last Jedi, even the first time watching the cinema, like obviously the whole... Also, do you know it's the Holdo thing? And I was a bit like... Because what I was saying is there's loads of bits where they were like, but it was like, they had a tick list of things, right, we need to get Chewie a medal, we need to get this, we need to get this, and Chewie was just like...
Chewie the medal, Leia a lightsaber. The thing is, that was nice,
though. But when Chewie found out Rey had died or whatever, and he's on the ground going...
Yeah, that was mad. I was like, how can fucking Peter Mayhew still do that nut shit?
He's dead.
Wait.
I just thought it was a bit choppy, that's the thing. I kind of wish almost like, it'd been a bit more shocking to be, I don't know. It's the problem, it's the same with Last Jedi, where it's like, you don't want to change it too much, but you don't want it to be the
same as The Force Awakens,
yeah.
Because I think The Last Jedi did try and spice it up and did try and throw away your expectations. Because Snoke dying when that happened, you weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that happened that was just to subvert your expectations, but a lot of people fucking hated it. and a lot of people just wanted the member berries. Oh, it's Luke Skywalker's
But this was
pure member berries.
Yeah,
no, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
but so was Avengers Endgame, and I think they did it well in Endgame, and I kind of think they did it well in this. Let's get some scores on the doors.
It would be like a 5.9.
So it's just below Last Jedi, literally minorly. Don't know how that happened. But, okay. Right, I'm going to go for... it's not high by any means, but I'm going to go for a 7.1.
Okay, so...
That's just 6.5. 6.5.
That's a 6.5.
That's 6.5 from us. Honestly, I'm looking forward to watching it again. I'm
not, by no means, I'm not watching. I'm going like, oh, I was just
No. Well, I mean,
I just
you've
was
given
too
it a positive review.
Yeah, it wasn't
yeah.
just. It was just a bit.
How do you feel about the fact we might not get any more Star Wars films for a while?
Well, as I said during the Rogue One review, I've had the original 3. I've had Rogue One, and I'm more than that's all I ever need. And to be honest, the Mandalorian's been a nice little extra little slice of cake. So this was like, I don't mind. I've got the Mandalorian. I've got other stuff. I'm happy. I'm happy. We've got loads of Star Wars knocking about.
That was our The Rise of the Skywalker.
Sorry, it's a bit quiet.
Review.
It's 3:58, and there's babies either side.
Babies either side.
Babies
to the left of us. Babies to the right.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Enjoy. Bye-bye. Enjoy watching the film.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about what the story is about in Star Wars?
The story, when you actually put it into words, is only so much nonsense to hang a great visual experience onto. It's the stuff that fairy tales are made of. We have a fairy princess. We have an innocent farm boy who yearns for adventure. Alec Guinness is a wise old wizard who teaches me a mystical force, somewhat like Merlin would teach a young King Arthur.